you. Get off the treadmill, stop Groundhog Days, hack your habits, and live a regret-free life. Because we know life's way too short not to live your bucket list life. So please welcome your host, Trav Bell, the Bucket List Guy.
Hey, bucket listers, welcome to another episode of the Bucket List Life podcast. I'm your host, Trav Bell, the Bucket List Guy, and I'm here with Marty Elberg all the way from, you're in Fort Lauderdale, Florida these days, or did you move recently?
Now. Hollywood, so right by Fort Lauderdale, between Fort Lauderdale and Miami.
Hollywood sounds so much cooler, doesn't it?
Right? Hollywood. And then I followed up with Florida, and people go, oh.
Yeah, I'm right in the heart of Florida in Hollywood.
It's not as cool as Hollywood, California, but we make the most of it. We love it. We absolutely love it. So, now it's our dream house. It's our bucket list place. We're living.
It really was, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah,
I remember you planning all that out when we. How long have we known each other? 3 years or something like that? And
three and a half. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Actually,
and I remember,
you know what? It would have been 4 years. 2017 BEF, the action coach thing in Houston. In Houston, that's when we met 4 years ago.
Cool, mate. Look, apart from your many accolades and many business accomplishments, we'll get into that in a second. I just want to, straight off the bat, thank you for being part of our certified bucket list coach tribe, flying the flag for us over there in the US, being one of the first US coaches over there, and helping helping us kind of mold this thing to pave the way for other people. And we've been through many changes over the time that we've known each other, and it's all in the quest to help more and more people. And you've certainly done that, and you're certainly been a friend through that whole journey. So I'm really grateful, man. So straight off the bat, grateful. And also one question I've got for you though.
It's been a lot of fun to watch, by the way. Okay, man. It's been a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, been amazing.
When we used to fly in these things called planes, and and we used to fill out these things called incoming passenger cards, and we used to have to put on our I'm saying used to, guys, so if you're watching this in 2030, we're right in the middle of the coronavirus and lockdowns and quarantines and all that sort of thing, and if you don't laugh, you cry, right? So at the end of the day, we're locked down. Not a lot of international travel going on at the moment, which has been good and bad, but a lot of good has come out of this. And back to the question was, when you used to put on that occupation on your incoming passenger card, what do you put on as your occupation on there before becoming a certified or adding certified bucket list coach? What do you put on as your occupation?
Right, attorney. I would put attorney. Sometimes I would go out of the way and put lawyer, but never solicitor. Never solicitor. I know that's what it is.
Solicitor, attorney, lawyer. Yeah,
all the same thing.
Yeah. Now you practice, and you still do practice quite a unique part of law, which is
I do estate planning, which means I help people keep their families out of court when they die, or out of court if something should ever happen to them. So we make sure that they die regret-free, basically. So they're leaving their family a legacy instead of a mess.
And that's what I've told this to so many people. The one thing you said to me when we did this, mate, was this is early days. I don't know if you remember saying it, but you said, "Look, Trav, I know that you're the bucket list guy and you're doing bucket list coach. Well, I'm an estate planning attorney, I'm a estate planner, attorney. I'm talking about death to everyone all day, every day anyway. So this isn't much of a stretch." I'm like, dude, if that's not a match, I don't know what is.
It's not much of a stretch at all. It's actually fun because I get to add the excitement and the fun and creating a life. And so now what I say is I help people live and die a regret-free life.
Wow.
So, yeah, I just kind of smashed them both together. So let's just do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you certainly do. Huh. There you go. Oh, now I'm just pondering. I'm sitting here pondering, and that's so cool. So, how long have you been an attorney for?
Oh boy, it'll be 14 years this year. Yeah, 14 years
Oh,
in a couple
wow.
months. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't go to law
yeah,
school till I was about 35.
yeah,
So that was a little bit of a difference. And most of the people in my law school or my class were much younger. I had
yeah,
a 7-year-old at the time, 8,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so during the estate planning class, like the trust, wills, trust, and estates class is what they call it.
Mm, mm.
Everybody else had their heads on the table. They were falling asleep. And I almost was too, until the professor was like, "This is your opportunity to live or to rule from the grave." I just kind of woke up. I was like, "What? Huh? What's that mean?" You can take
Rule
care of
from the
yeah,
grave.
you can take care of your kids, you can take care of
Yeah,
your grandkids, you can make sure that if your spouse or ex-spouse is not particularly good with money, you can
yeah,
preserve that asset by properly planning. And I just was like,
yeah,
boom, that is awesome. So I'm ready.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, look, and you know, it reminds me because you know, one of the packs that myself and the family, Tracy, and the rest of the family, we made before going into lockdown and COVID and all this sort of thing was to come out of COVID, and I'm going to harp on COVID, but these lockdowns, and because it debilitated quite a few people, you know, more spiritually and mentally, and you
Oh
know,
yeah.
than actually physically. So we've taken a bit of a knock, and we made a family pact to come out of this thing better in every area of our life, relationship, you know, her and I as parents as well to the kids, better in our health, better in our
Mhm.
businesses, better financially as well.
Yep.
Um, and one of the coolest things that have happened as a result of this is also no travel, which allowed us to get a whole heap of different projects, personal projects done. So we've cleaned the shed, we've put up the bike racks and organised all that,
Yep.
organised the house, done our teeth, went to the dentist as if I got, as you know, I got the book done, and thank you for supporting that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Finishing the book, getting the teeth done, both of us, and most importantly, the wills and the power of attorneys done. And and I've been telling that to people. I literally just signed off the other day from our local guy, and everyone, you know, people I've told that to since have just gone, whoa. I'm like, yeah, so COVID's not too bad. You know, this whole lockdown has got us to really, I guess, not just take a big, deep breath in, but helped us recalibrate. Have you seen a lot of that during these times? You know, people are coming to you, because I know you've been really
Yeah.
busy and we've all done it ourselves. Have you found that people have recalibrated, you know, kept you busy by thinking beyond, you know,
Yeah,
beyond their
absolutely.
daily to-do list,
Yeah.
which they've been busy doing? Yeah.
Yep. I was very busy the first few months of COVID, of the shutdown, and I was,
Mm,
I was a necessity, so I was still open.
mm,
But my wife was working from home. I was working from home. We had my son here, who was in college down the street in Miami, and he stayed with us. So I had a whole lot of estate planning to do, because people, they thought of it. They were like, "Oh my, wow, we need to get this done," and especially the healthcare workers and
yeah, yeah,
the
right.
airline employees. They were just on top of it. They were like, "I got to get this done. I'm around people."
Straight
So
away.
we got it
Yeah.
done. I loaded them in the car during signings, and we just did a mobile signing. So instead of meeting in the
Really?
office, it was like they sat in the car and they witnessed while I was notarying everything. Had our masks on, had a little table, set it up in the middle of the street, and they just signed their documents. Here you go. Here you go. So
Really?
I developed
Oh,
an amazing system. So it's really helped my business. It,
well, hasn't it? I mean,
unfortunately, but
people, yeah,
fortunately and unfortunately, it's helped my business.
Yeah, have you seen, in both from a business and a personal point of view, mate, have you seen a lot of people innovate, adapt,
Absolutely. Yeah.
like never before?
Yeah. Especially in legal services. Yeah, we were so used to having people. I'll talk about myself, and I know other attorneys that have done the same thing. We used to have people come to our office before we would let them hire us, right? It just was part of the practice. You set up a consultation. People would drive to your office. They would sit with you for 45 minutes, half hour, hour and a half. Usually, for me, it was usually about an hour and a half, and then they would drive home. And I thought that's what they wanted to do because that's what we had always done. That's what we've been taught. And now I get on the phone with somebody for about 20 to 40 minutes, depending on how many questions they have. And they've got everything they need to make a decision to go forward. By the time they call me, they're ready to do something. They just want to make sure I'm the right guy to do it.
Yeah,
So
and what I love about you, mate, is you've kind of been a life coach all the way through because you're dealing with a really delicate area, right? And so, and I know you've done a lot beyond the typical lawyer, attorney, that you've got such a heart for helping others, that I have to scratch my head sometimes and go, is this dude really an attorney? Is this, of all the jokes, they don't apply to you. And so you're a kind of in a way, a life coach before becoming a certified bucket list coach. Why add certified bucket list coach to your suite of offerings?
Because of you. You inspired me to change my practice and to make it the way I wanted it to be, and my life. But not just my practice, but my life. I was doing well. I was comfortable. I was fine. I'm still well. I'm still comfortable. I'm still fine. But I find myself saying, okay, well, I'm comfortable. I'm fine. I don't need to do that. But I want to, and there's no reason I can't. So I'm going to do it. So just for instance, that first time in Houston, you had us do the exercise of, okay, we're going to go through the bucket list and then choose a category. Now take some action on it. Yeah. My wife and I had been talking to some friends that were going on vacation. They already planned it to go to Club Med. And I had wanted to go for 20 years. My bachelor's degree is in recreation. So literally recreation management.
That makes sense.
So I had known about Club Med for a long time. I was like, I want to go manage a Club Med. I want to be Julie McCoy on the cruise.
You're the guy.
The cruise ship. That's what I wanted to do. So I was just hemming and hawing about this vacation. I was like, I don't know, it's expensive. Not that we couldn't afford it, but it was like, I don't want it. Then you were like, life's too short. Why are you waiting until tomorrow? And I was like, you're right. And I called my wife during that little 10-minute session, and I was like, we're going. I looked at the tickets. I said, here they are. She said, okay, super. And we went. And it was, I would say, one of the best vacations we've ever been on. And really, had it not been for you, I probably wouldn't have gone. So that's as simple as that. And then I picked up on the leave a legacy, tied that right into my estate planning. And then the next year, and you're like, we're going to do a bucket list coaching thing. I'm like, I'm in. And then I found you a couple months later, and you're like, hey, I know you. So here we are. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does affect us personally as coaches, doesn't it? But you've put it out there in your own unique way and made this work for your practice and the people that you connect with. And why do people get stuck? Why do businesses kind of get stuck? Why does it take someone to talk about death in a kind of inspiring way, if that was ever, if we could ever do that? But what was it? Well, what is it about us as maybe a society, as people, that we don't look at life through this? Why don't we look at life through like this?
I don't know. I think I do know, because I've talked to enough people about death, dying, dismemberment, incapacitation, all these things. They're afraid. They do not want to talk about death because then they think they're either going to get there or they're just so afraid of the actual act of dying or being sick or being incapacitated, being in a situation where there's a medical emergency, that they don't want to talk about it. And I walk them through that on a weekly basis. And my rule to myself is, if I don't get somebody to laugh about dying, dismemberment, being in a coma, something, that I don't think they're going to work with me.
Yeah,
And
wow.
I would say over 90%, 95% of the people I talk to, I can get them to lighten up about it. And I can get them to actually realize that the fear that they have, it's not, it's a fear. And so basically I'm taking them through conquer a fear and they don't even know it.
Yeah. Wow. It's so well illustrated, and yeah, it's just it's the untalked about. It's the thing that we don't like to mention. Yeah, you're right. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, look, personally, you know, as coaches and people that have been in your programs, we go through this concept of reverse bucket list and future bucket list. And I know that I always ask every guest on the Bucket List Live podcast, what are three, I know you've got heaps, but three of your most favorite reverse done bucket list items?
Oh,
Go
boy.
for it.
Wow. Just three?
Well,
all right.
humorous.
No, I'll do three. So of course the number one thing is taking my ancestry.com test and finding out my genetic heritage as well as my biological mother.
All within a week. I was just saying that yesterday to Lorena, one of our coaches down in Chile. She's doing it as well. No, she did do it because I did it.
Yeah.
And I only did it because you did it.
And I only did it because you inspired me to do it. So look at that.
Right.
Look at that. How's that? I probably would not have done it had there not been a satisfying curiosity. I just was like,
and we're not an affiliate. I don't think we're an affiliate. We're not getting any commission from this.
I know, right? I actually know. I think there is an affiliate down there. I think there is. I'm gonna link it up, and we're gonna be set.
But tell me about that. Tell me about that. Like you've. Where are you at? I found out that I was 37% Irish.
I'm like 40% Irish, 30% Scottish, Welsh, 5% Norwegian. No, 5% Swedish. They finally updated, and I'm 2% Norwegian now. And
I am too.
I've got a tiny bit of German, and that's about it. But I was raised being Norwegian, Swedish, and a little bit of Irish. That's what they told me.
You're going around saying, I'm a Viking, and to no avail.
Yeah, my mom's family's all from Norway, so I've been there several times, stayed with them, got great connections with my Norwegian family. So I'm like, I'm a Norwegian. I know my dad's like parents are right off the boat,
right,
in Sweden. So I know the Swedish relatives too. So I was like, I'll fit right in. I'm 6'3", and I'm a Norwegian. Find out zero Norwegian. Zero. I'm like, what?
All those old folk songs that you fell in love with and you grew up with, it means nothing now.
I don't tell the Sven and Ollie jokes anymore because I would be racist because I'm not Norwegian or Swedish anymore.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Now you have to drink Guinness, a lot more Guinness.
I've always
and no problem there. and old sailor, Irish folk songs. That's more applicable.
But I did a study abroad program when I was in undergrad, and I did it in London. And had I known this then, I probably would have taken that trip on a whole different level.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
I would have gone through where my roots were from. But I thought I was from Norway, so I actually visited Norway.
There you go.
had a
So
lot
where are
of
you
fun
at with? Where are you at? Because we're both adopted,
Yeah.
and so there's a special club going on there, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
But also, where are you at with your natural biological mum?
Yeah. So her name's Linda. We talk every once in a while on Facebook, chat, text back and forth. It's slow going. I was really hoping to set up a time to meet her. So if you're listening, I would really like to get together and see you in person. And I was hoping to do that last year, but COVID just kind of wrecked everything as far as travel and doing all of that. So yeah, I would absolutely love to get to know her. And I've got 2 half siblings, and
Oh wow!
yeah, so there's a whole family out
Crazy,
there,
isn't it?
and some nephews and nieces, not nephews, nieces. Yeah, so it's there, and that would be great.
So that was one big one on the reverse bucket list. A couple more. What do you got?
Yeah. So what I was talking about the other day was meeting Sir Richard Branson. So meet your personal hero. Not that I got a lot of insight from him, but it was fun. It was an adventure, and something that never would have done had I not put it on my bucket list. It cost me $20, and I met him. I didn't have to fly around the world. I just had to watch where he was, and not in a bad stalkerish.
That's
not in a bad kind of a stalker way.
Yeah.
But you got to find where he was. I had no idea how I was going to meet him, but I put him on my list because I thought he was a pretty cool dude. Great companies. He's got a great concept. He looks like he's always having fun, and I wanted to meet him, so I did.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And
third thing.
Let's go with Ultimate Challenge. I had lost 40 pounds and have kept it off. And I was in a pretty bad car accident in August. And that's really one of the reasons I just kind of kicked it up another notch to push off or to kick off more bucket list programs. So it was a reality check for me, even. Every once in a while we have to have our own reality checks. And it was pretty bad. So I had a pretty good surgery. If you can see the nice little scar I have there, double fusion. So I've been kind of laying low, but I've been able to keep that weight off, and started a workout program with light weights. The doctors said light weights is okay. And one day I'm going to look like you.
That's not a go. Don't aspire to that, mate. Don't put that on your bucket list board, please.
It's not. I was going to look like.
Let's stay with Sir Richard Branson. Let's just go with that.
No, people. Trav used to be a personal trainer, so he's still in really good shape. And one of his items on his future bucket list. Should I say it? Can I tell everybody? I know you love that.
Go for it. You're already down the path.
Put it on your list. You've told thousands of people. What's a couple?
I didn't tell thousands. I told you coaches.
You told us.
I was trying to inspire you coaches to step out of your comfort zone. So yes, go for it.
So Trav wants to compete in a bodybuilding contest, right? Compete, not win, but compete. Yeah, I think win. I think you should throw win up there.
Look,
you're almost 50. You're almost, or are you 50? Did you make 50 yet?
Are we going to do this? Are we going to do this now?
I'll be 53 in a couple months. So look, you're like in the seniors category. So you should be all right.
Thank you, Marty. Now this is my show. I'll do all the I'll do all the jokes. I work alone. No, it is one thing on the bucket list. Thanks for mentioning that. And way off on the future bucket list. There's this old thing of like just getting in shape, just between where I am and where that goal actually is. Yeah. But look, it's all about experimenting with the boundaries, and I think for those people that have got a visual now, I'm looking at the fitness category, not the one where I'm getting up in the gold G-string category. Yes. So as disappointed as people might be in that, yes, that's possibly one of the things I'm going to put on that is actually on the future bucket list. But thanks for that embarrassment, Marty.
Anytime.
So you're losing the weight. So what we may meet, at the World Championship for that at some stage. There could be a
never know.
There could be like a pose down, dude. A pose off. So
poser, more like poser.
Yeah. But look, that's all about on the other. What do we say on the other side of your bucket list is a you that you don't know yet. That's called our potential. And why go through life, right? Not getting curiously excited by what's on the other side of your bucket list. That's what it's all about. You know, why live a regretful life, live a regret-free life, as embarrassing as it might be. But that's what life's all about, new experiences. So, mate, 3 things on your future bucket list. And by the way, if you're watching this live, guys, love to hear what's on your reverse bucket list and also what's on your future bucket list as well. So feel free to type into the comments as we're going live here, and we'll put some of those comments up. So 3 things on your future bucket list, mate. Go for it.
Wow, 3 things on my future bucket list. All right, so literally to have abs. Right now I have a 12-pack, but I want to get it down to like maybe a 3-pack, not a 6-pack. I'm shooting for a 6-pack, but if you can actually see my abs, that would be phenomenal. I haven't seen my abs since I was probably 23, so almost 30 years ago probably. So
20 years in personal training, and might be able to help you with a bit of stuff around that, man.
It's written down. 6-pack, almost. It says 6-pack almost.
Freaking gets harder. It gets harder and harder as we get older.
Well, I've never had one, so I was like, all right, we'll just go with almost. I think almost.
All right, cool. Good goal.
Still shooting pretty high. Travel, if we can ever travel again. That riverboat cruise that I was supposed to do a couple of years ago, but we had a grandbaby instead. So we had to settle for him. And it was definitely well worth it. He's absolutely amazing. So he's a year and a half now. But we were planning on going the year he was born. So we were like, I guess we're not going to do that. So it got put off, and then got put off again from COVID. So we'll see. I was looking at him the other day, and my wife's still not sure about that travel thing yet. What's another thing? I'm not looking at my list here, but
doesn't matter. We can circle back to it. Come to Australia.
Come to us. Oh, swimming with the sharks is still there. So maybe a cage shark dive with the great whites. Jesus. Not a free dive. No. With the shark, I had that set up twice, and it got canceled twice. So I thought
that's right. Yeah.
There's something about that I shouldn't do it. But
cage could be handy. Why did you, mate? Why did you become a certified bucket list coach? You know, on a personal level. You know, not because of me or anything like that. But what was it about the content? What was it about the philosophy that we go out there and give to people through our programs?
Mm-hmm. It's really that holistic plan about things that I hadn't even thought of. Just the wide range of categories. And people say, well, I have a bucket list. Okay, what's on it? And it's usually travel. Sometimes it's an experience or something like that, but it's not as well-rounded as my bucket list blueprint. And when I started diving in and actually doing the things on my list because I did them, I was like, a lot of people said, what are you doing? Why are you doing all this? Because I have a bucket list. Look, they're like, wow, that's pretty cool. All right. So people were inspired by what I was doing. And then in turn, I got inspired by what they were doing because of what I was doing. So it was just this awesome, vicious circle of fulfillment.
And when helping people, why do you love being a bucket list coach? You've done a bunch of programs with different people. We do programs from small businesses to bigger businesses, for individuals, for families, for couples, for teenagers, and everyone in between. What is it about? Why do you love doing it? Doing these programs with people.
It's seeing, just like you said, it's seeing who they become on the other side of what they want to do. I had one participant that was scared to death of heights. Just like absolutely frightful. And he was very close to a nonprofit that their big fundraiser was called Over the Edge. And you rappel over the edge of a 17-story building. And he wanted to raise the money.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
He was like, there's no way I'm going to do that. I'll just help. I'll volunteer. And then he just put his head down, and I remember watching him do this when he was doing it.
You sent me the footage of that, or photos of that, I think.
He put his head down, and he's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go over the edge. And then he just leaned back, and he's like, yes, I'm going to do it. And there were 14 of us, I think, in that program, or 14 participants in the program, and me.
Yep.
And 4 of us joined him on that journey. So I thought it was awesome. I had no fear about that at all. But I was like, all right, I can raise this $1,000 to go over the edge of a building. So he did it. My associate did it. I did it. And a couple other people that were there, they also did it. And so he gets down the side of the building, and he was like, that was amazing. 2 months later, he goes skydiving. That's
what it's about, isn't it? It's I guess creating that pressure cooker kind of environment and people are like, what do you say when people say, well, why would I need a bucket list coach?
Yeah, why does Tom Brady still need a coach?
It's true.
Why does Tiger Woods got in an accident today, so hopefully he's all right. But why does he need a coach? All those people need.
They just haven't got one coach. They've got like a coach for all sorts.
Has like 6 or 7 different coaches for every aspect of her life. So
really,
bucket list coach is something that nobody thinks they need, but everybody needs one. I didn't know I needed one until I met you. I thought I was doing good, and I was. I was living in Florida. I was traveling, doing what I wanted to do. Had enough money to do. I was comfortable. I wasn't, superstar rich. I'm still not, but I'm comfortable. And I didn't know I needed a bucket list, but I can name 24 things that I've done because I've had a bucket list. And had I not had a bucket list, I wouldn't have done them. And I wouldn't be the person that you're talking to today. Period.
Yeah, it's not so much about the list, and this is what we find ourselves, rinse and repeating all the time in our discussions. Right? Is it's not just about the actual bucket list and checking these things or ticking these things off. It's really about how a person, like you've just explained, how a person reverse engineers every aspect of their life in order to make this stuff come to fruition. Right? It's the growth of us on this journey towards these self-imposed destinations, but more importantly, it's about the person that exists on the other side. And that's the person we want people to get excited about. That's our own potentiality. But the ripple effect of ticking these things off, I've had, and you've got so many examples, and all of our coaches have got great examples of where people have gone, entered that first K run, their first kilometre run, their first 5-mile run, and then that's led on to becoming a multi-marathoner, or that first surf lesson has resulted in a surfing habit that becomes a daily thing that now is being paid forward, into their kids. It's crazy how it wakes people up to a new, I guess all these new habits and new interest areas. And for those that aren't aware, the foundation of what we teach is basically positive psychology. It's performance-based psychology, not regressive psychology, where we're trying to get people to be normal, because no one wants to be normal. People want to excel. They want to have a great, fulfilled life. So positive psych is all about helping people identify what brings them meaning, purpose, and fulfillment, and more gratitude in their life. We've just put this, bucket list, I guess, brand over the top of it. But it's all about helping people live this regret-free, more fulfilled life. Any other examples that you've got, mate, of how you've helped people or organisations?
One of the most touching examples I have is just a simple little one. So I did a pro bono program for some kids that had aged out of foster care. So they were removed from their parents because of abuse, neglect, or abandonment. And they aged out, which means they turned 18 here in the United States. You're an adult. So you basically get kicked out of your foster parents' home. And it was a shelter for these kids that got kicked out of their home. So I did a free program for them. And we were going through my bucket list blueprint, and we came to conquer fear. And this one girl was like, I'm not sharing. I'm like, okay, you don't have to. It would be awesome if you did, because she was sharing the whole time. Like, I'm afraid of the dark. Deathly afraid of the dark. I go to sleep. I leave all my lights on, the whole place, all my lights on before I go to bed. I'm like, oh, okay. And why is that so bad? Well, I don't have friends over. I don't have a boyfriend because I'm embarrassed and da-da-da-da. So, okay. And you're gonna write that down. You're gonna conquer it. So we walked. Everybody else was like, "Wow!" And there's no judging. So that we had
no judgment-free zone. Yep.
We judged her, and everybody actually just pitched in on ideas of steps to take to conquer this fear. And we came up with, okay, well, leave one light on, and then leave the bathroom light on, and then leave just the door cracked. And they all helped her work out a plan, and she put it in place. And I went back 3 weeks later, and she just came running up to me as soon as I walked in the door. She's like, guess what? I sleep with the lights off. I'm like, you're kidding me. Wow, that is awesome. She's like, if I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll leave the bathroom light on, but I sleep with the lights off.
Oh, man, that's so good.
I still, it's like, wow, holy smokes. And she's like, and guess what? I went swimming the other day, and I'm going again tomorrow. Deathly afraid of water too. So she used the same things to take care of that. But she's like, I'm afraid of water and I'm afraid of the dark. And she just took on afraid of the dark, conquered that, and moved on to the water all within 3 weeks. Unbelievable.
Dude. And how old is she?
She, at the time, it was like a year and a few months ago. So she was 19, 20.
Oh, wow. Imagine the ripple effect that you've just created. And you say, oh, this is just a small one.
Yeah, no,
it's huge.
For her, it's huge.
Yeah. Oh, it's huge. For her, it's huge. And that's what's so individual, right? When you go run these programs, we really unearth and then extract and then articulate this personally meaningful and holistic bucket list.
Yep.
And you do that in a group environment like we do within companies more so now, and also individual programs in terms of the public programs that we run. But you do this within a company, and it has crazy, like, it's a no judgmental space, but it has a crazy benefit on culture, doesn't it? Because people are communicating on a completely different level.
Different level. They start working with each other on achieving their bucket list goals, which then turns to now they're working better in their company goals. So it's a win-win for the individual and the company. So now they're not only going to work to fulfill on the owner of the company's dreams, but they're going to work to fulfill their own dreams.
Yeah. Yeah, we're seeing more and more of these programs pop up around the world, and and the benefits are beyond the benefits that I ever thought of as the founder. You know, like people are communicating. Like we've got baby boomers and Gen Xers talking to millennials on a completely different wavelength now and doing things together. More importantly, supporting each other too in helping each other do their bucket list items, sharing their reverse bucket list items as we do in the Bucket List Life Plan programs, especially sharing things about themselves in a safe, non-judgmental way, in a supportive way, and they're finding out stuff about each other. We've had partners that have been married, like do these programs and then discover things about each other that they've never talked about before.
Yeah,
they're going, what? You? Cool, let's do this together. And family bucket list, partner, couples bucket list, companies bucket list, and then even using it. Even in companies now, like sales managers, for instance, we're working with a recruitment company at the moment, and they're doing a program with 20 people at the moment, and they're all recruiters. So the manager is uncovering through one of their programs, uncovering all the bucket lists of all their team, and then using that as an incentive program to drive business. And that's smart. Like. If you're engaged, we say a bucket list is a tangible life plan where our career plan or our business plan should fit into our life plan and not be the other way around. So this is really bringing home that work to live principle. And we need inspiration out there right now, especially in corporate America and corporate everywhere. We need that inspired worker. We want to be an employer. Employers want to be an employer of choice. They want to attract and retain good talent. And so the ones that care about employee happiness are doing programs like this, personal development programs like this, to get in more engaged worker, to affect culture, who care about employee mental health, because that's a massive issue right now, in and out of work. And, I know that, and with your help, mate, we've been making an impact in our own unique kind of way, right?
Absolutely. Yep. And that's why it's my focus this year. My focus this year is to go do corporate programs and to get that employee engagement back up. People working from home and not being connected. It's just a way to connect them. And I've finally cracked the code on doing it online. It took a little bit because we were so used to the in-person programs. Yeah. But getting that message across and working with somebody one-on-one, it works. It still works online, and I've just been. Yeah. It does. Fantastic, I worked with a guy on Clubhouse the other day. I think you popped in for a second. Yeah. And I'm sorry I didn't let you chat, but we were right in the.
I know. I was like, you were right in the thick of coaching.
Yeah, and I think he got something out of it, and he couldn't even see me. Never met me
definitely.
Before. And he was like, "Oh wow, yeah, I see that now."
Yeah. I mean, what would you say would be the top, or the uniqueness of the programs? What would you say that these are unique programs? The uniqueness compared to a lot of the other programs that you've seen. Because I know you've been around a lot of professional development programs.
I've been around a lot of professional development programs. I've been around a lot of public speakers. I've been to a lot of business conferences, heard a lot of people speak. And usually it's a message, and they leave you with the message, and then you're left with the message, and then you have your notes that you may or may not look at, and you may remember 5 to 10% of what that person spoke about.
Yeah.
But with the bucket list programs, and even when I just do a little keynote, so I'll do a 20 to 30 minute keynote, people walk away with something. They got something. They write down the My Bucket List blueprint. They've got something, and they're like, I'm going to do that. And they go out and they do it. And then they tell me 6 months later, I just saw you speak that one time, but I did this, and then I did something else, and I did something else. So it's something that sticks with you because it is so easy, yet nobody's thought of it.
Yeah. And what's easy, but what's also easy to do is easy not to do. and we do need that butt kicking to a certain degree as well. Like people for the last 10 years have seen me speak. And I know that a lot of people have walked away and gone, that's great, and got hyped up and left 8 foot and bulletproof. I'm going to change the world, but life just gets in the way.
Yep.
So the cool thing about doing the programs, right, especially in a group accountability kind of setting, is the fact that you get to, I guess, as a coach, you get to hold their hand through the integration process.
Right.
It's not just a one-trick pony where people get, just and they get all hyped up, but then life gets in the way or business gets in the way. And so, that's the need of coaches versus even a speaker. The need of the coach holds their hand through the change process.
Right. The ongoing hand-holding coach, which is really literally a coach. It's okay, you said you were going to do this. What have you done to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, well then let's get that habit going. And once you get that habit going, then you keep it going and keep somebody online.
Yeah.
I had a business coach for years. People say, why do you have a business, or 7 years? Why do you have a business coach? Keeps me in line.
Yeah.
It does. He's the only person I'm accountable to.
Yeah. There you go.
It's me.
Yeah. So many, and you're the best, mate. This is it's kind of like life coaching, but without saying life coaching, really, isn't it? It's because that gets met with a lot of skepticism out there.
So let's say, tangible life coach. Tangible
life coaching. Yeah, I like that.
You said that. So
yeah, repeating the words that I said.
Here are things we can do. I always think of life coaching as, what's going on in your life? Oh, okay. Well, what can we do different about that? Well, this is like putting things on a list, setting goals to do something, not just talking about it, but writing it down. And I was writing my goals down, my business goals down, but I wasn't writing my personal goals down. I wasn't writing things down like, let's figure out what genetics are. Let's run a 5K, which only came out because I had a couple participants that wanted to run their first 5K, and they're like, will you do it? Like, no, never, not going to do it. And of course, a week later, I called them and go, I signed up for a 5K. You want to join me? Like, who am I?
That's what it's about.
I encourage somebody to do a 5K, and then I'm not going to do it. Come on.
Got to practice what we preach, man.
Exactly. So, tangible, absolutely tangible. There's something there. There's something we're working towards. There's something at the end of the list, really, and then something else, and you add it, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's just a thing. That's why I don't like equating life coaching. I know too many life coaches that are just like, isn't it wonderful?
Nice use of the voice there too. What would be, as we sort of wrap this up? What if someone's watching this, what would be the three? Now, whether it be individual or company, what would be the three biggest problems that we'd solve, for want of a better description?
The three biggest things we solve. All right, so I work with a lot of working parents or busy parents. So they've got the kids, they've got maybe a job, or even if they don't have a job outside of the house, they've got a job inside the house. That is no picnic taking care of kids.
Oh yeah.
Especially now that they're homeschooling, it's like, I couldn't even imagine. So I'm glad my kids are college age, so we're good there. But they just get stuck in this rut of the kids first, family first, family first, family first. They forget about themselves, and they forget about their health. They forget about their mental health and things that matter to them. And when they do that, it's a downward spiral into, I have no purpose anymore. My purpose is to take care of my kids, which is fantastic. So don't get me wrong there. I've had small kids. I've thrown my life's purpose into taking care of them. But then when I have a break and I can actually refuel myself, because I find something that I'm interested in, that I want to do. I'm now a better parent because I'm
Wow.
old. You know, it's just like,
That's so cool, man. That is so cool. Yeah. Yeah, and it kind of, that can build resentment if you don't do something like that.
absolutely.
If you don't take that circuit, if you don't do a circuit breaker, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
And different parents have different ways of recharging. A lot of them don't recharge, and that's where the issue is. So when they can grasp onto something like the bucket list and do some bucket list planning and some coaching, they can break away from that monotony or that rut that they're in and take care of themselves. And then their kids can say, "Oh, look, mommy's happier, daddy's happier," and then they can
Right.
kids join along and do some of the things that they love doing instead of watching TV on the couch, doing the same thing every day.
I've never heard it explained like that. That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay, so yeah, I'm just thinking about that now.
We already talked
Some
about
other problems that we might solve here. So
we kind of touched on that.
yeah.
My wife's working from home. I'm working from home. I was actually working from home before COVID, but employees just aren't connected anymore. They're they were slightly connected perhaps when they were working together, and now there are some that they're working together again. But you lose some of that connection. And even when people were working together, I have seen it. I've worked in corporate America. I've had plenty of clients that work in corporate America, and don't have a connection with each other, and they definitely don't have a connection usually with their superiors. Definitely,
right.
I don't know if those work together, but with the bucket list program, it brings them together. And like we said, we touched on that because we're talking about things we're not talking about in work, but it's things that inspire people to do a better job because now they have something that they can think about at work instead of this whole work-life balance BS that doesn't really work. What am I going to balance? Stuff I do or stuff I do at work?
We kind of right now we're redefining what that work-life blend actually looks like us for individually. We're all making up our own definition of that right now. Right?
Exactly.
That's what I feel anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool. So engagement, parents. What else?
Parents getting stuck in a rut. Employee engagement, engagement and morale. We could probably mix those together. Employee turnover. If employees don't feel connected to their employer, they're going to leave. 100%. They got no reason to stay, especially because they're not engaged. They don't know any of their coworkers. A lot of the reason people didn't quit is because, well, I'm friends with so-and-so. I'm friends with so-and-so. So I'll just hang out for another 6 months, a year until I can find something. Now they don't have that connection. They're going to quit. Now how much does that cost an employer? Thousands. What is
Crazy.
it, like $5,000 per employee, depending on the salary?
Yeah, that's perfect, man. Really uniquely put, man. I think we could talk about that for ages, and we have. So, but for the sake, I think this has been my longest podcast in quite some time. So we'll I know it's getting late over there, mate. In wrapping up, thank you for sharing that wisdom too. Like, in all honesty, it hasn't been explained like that before. So thank you for that. Imagine a stadium full of people, big raised stage up the front, and a big booming microphone. What would you love to say, and who do you choose to be in the audience?
Wow, and that's on my bucket list, by the way.
To build a stage, to speak at I can see it.
From like 300 to 500, now it's 5,000. So I don't know if that's a huge stadium, but we might as well go 12, 18,000.
Maybe this is your acceptance speech when you win that bodybuilding comp. See what I did there? See what I did? I brought it back around.
Well,
See what I
maybe.
did?
Still not quite there. What would I say? I think I would say, if I can do this, if I can be here right now from where I started, so can you. What's on your, kind of like my acceptance speech for the Bucket List Coach of the Year award thing. So,
This is true. This is true. You actually did it. Yeah.
That's what I want to know. I want to know what's holding you back from doing what you want to do, and why aren't you doing it? And literally, if I'm here, I think you've heard my speech about my story about giving my first speech in front of a big audience. Terrible.
Yeah.
I was that.
And I did. You did win our Bucket List Coach of the Year, which we're bringing back, and for North America over there, and it was so cool that speech that you did give was absolutely incredible, very heartwarming, and like I said, mate, at the top, I couldn't be prouder of you. I couldn't be prouder of you as a friend, and certainly as one of our tribe members. For after all these years, and I can't wait to see the impact that you have, in especially this year and years to come as well. So, mate, thank you for being on the Bucket List Life podcast. And how do people connect with you? And I know we've got the website up here, but what about on the socials and stuff?
Yeah, so social is Bucket List Coach Marty Elberg. So just like it ran across there.
Yep.
bucketListCoach.MartyElberg. That's on Instagram.
Yep.
And Facebook, just type in Marty Elberg. I think I'm the only one. There might be two of us, but I'm the only one.
There is only one. There is only one Marty Elberg. There is only one. And, mate, thank you. there can only be one. Mate, thanks a lot for being on the show, buddy. We could talk for hours, and we have.
Yes.
I can't wait to get back over there and hang out some more, and more importantly, help more people together as we go along life's journey, buddy. And thank you for being you, and thanks a lot once again for being on the show.
Thank you for being you. Thank you for having me.
Cool, man.
Thanks so much for listening to the Bucket List Life podcast with the world's #1 bucket list expert, Trav Bell. For more great content, go to www.thebucketlistguy.com. We'll see you next time.